Hello everybody, it's me Jones Jay here. Ever since the skyscraper was born in the US in the late 19th century, many countries around the world have built skyscrapers in their cities. They are commonly viewed as symbolism to show the rise in power and engineering that a nation has achieved. Unfortunately, this can also make them prime targets for attacks, like the World Trade Center, which was destroyed in the 9/11 attacks. In addition to attacks, skyscrapers have also been peacefully demolished if they are either no longer needed or to make room for another skyscraper. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the top 10 tallest skyscrapers in the world that were destroyed, whether peacefully or in an attack. Without further ado, let's get to the list. Number 10. Greater Hudson Store. Starting off the list in Detroit, and we arrive at the former Greater Hudson Store. The structure was a department store on the lower levels with a penthouse tower attached on the side. The store closed in 1983, at the nadir of downtown Detroit's decline. After closure, Hudson's maintained its headquarters staff in the downtown store, but after the Hudson Corporation merged into the Dayton Hudson Corporation, all executive and buying positions were transferred to Minneapolis, and the Hudson store was demolished in 1998. The site will soon house the upcoming Hudson Site Development Tower when it completes in 2022. Number 9. Deutsche Bank Building. And now we arrive in New York City, where we will unfortunately be for most of the list due to the 9/11 attacks causing a lot of damage in the city. The Deutsche Bank Building was a 39-story skyscraper located at 130 Liberty Street. The building opened in 1974 and was purchased by Deutsche Bank after they acquired Bankers Trust in 1988. The collapse of the South Tower at the World Trade Center during 9/11 tore a 24-story gash into the facade of the building, and it would later be demolished in 2011 after the building was deemed dangerous from the damage and toxic dust from the Twin Towers collapse. Number 8. Torre AXA. Moving across the Atlantic, and we arrive in Paris, where Torre First is located. When this building was first built in 1974, it featured a completely different design and was originally named Torre UAP. The building at the time rose 522 feet or 159 meters tall. The building would later be renamed Torre AXA after UAP was bought by the AXA Insurance Company in 1996. In 2007, a large-scale renovation took place at the property, which saw the original building deconstructed and replaced by Torre First, a building that features a completely new design and rises 738 feet or 225 meters tall. Now this technically wasn't a demolition like the rest of the buildings on the list, but it basically can still be considered a demolition in the sense that the building was basically completely reconstructed. Number 7. Morrison Hotel. Moving back into the US, this time in the city of Chicago, and we arrive at the former Morrison Hotel. The building was a high-rise hotel located at the corner of Madison and Clark Streets in the downtown Loop area. It was originally a much smaller 3-story hotel that was destroyed in the Chicago fire, and would later be replaced by an 8-story building. But in the following decades, the hotel would be further expanded to a 45-story building that rose 526 feet or 160 meters tall, and was the tallest hotel in the world at the time. The hotel saw many famous guests, including Presidents Truman, Eisenhower, and Kennedy, boxer Jack Dempsey, and much more. Morrison Hotel was demolished in 1965 to make room for First National Bank Building, now known as Chase Tower. Number 6. CPF Building. Moving over to Singapore, and we arrive at the former CPF Building. Completed in 1976, the CPF Building housed both government and commercial offices. The CPF Building exhibits the international architectural style and uses concrete, glass, and granite for its construction materials. The building would be demolished in 2018 after all tenants moved out and the space was no longer needed. The site would later be redeveloped into a 29-story office tower. Number 5. 7 World Trade Center. And now we arrive at another building that was heavily damaged and destroyed during the 9/11 attacks. The original 7 World Trade Center was a 47-story building that rose 570 feet or 173 meters tall and opened in May 1987. Similar to the Deutsche Bank Building, heavy debris hit 7 World Trade Center after the Twin Towers collapsed, which heavily damaged the structure and started fires in the building. Firefighters attempted to stop the fires in the building, but they kept spreading. They also noticed a bulge in the southwest corner of the building, which was a sign that the building was unstable and might collapse, and indeed it did. The cause of the collapse was determined to be a combination of factors, including physical damage, the fire, and the building's unusual construction, which set off a chain reaction collapse. Number 4. Singer Building. And here is another building in New York City, only this time one that wasn't destroyed in the 9/11 attacks. The Cena Building was a 41-story skyscraper that rose 612 feet or 186 meters tall and was located at 149 Broadway. The building was originally built in 1898 as a 10-story building, but would later feature a tower addition that brought the total height to 41 stories. In 1961, Cena announced it would sell the building and relocate to Rockefeller Center. Several acquisitions later, and the building would later land in the hands of U.S. Steel, which wanted to demolish the building to make room for a new 54-story tower. Since the Cena Building didn't receive landmark designation, it was allowed to be demolished. The Cena Building was demolished in 1967 to make room for the U.S. Steel Building, later known as One Liberty Plaza. Number 3. Torre de la Escollera. Moving down to South America in the city of Cartagena in Colombia, and we arrive at Torre de la Escollera. This building was planned to rise 676 feet or 206 meters and feature 58 floors of residential space. The interesting thing about this building though is that unlike the other buildings on the list, Torre de la Escollera never finished construction. You see, construction for the building started in 2005, but on May 13, 2007, when the building was still under construction, a major storm hit the city. The high winds, combined with a lack of diagonal bracing in the structure, caused the building's steel structure to twist 1 meter or 3 feet between floors 28 and 40. Construction was suspended, and it was recommended that the building should be demolished. The building was dismantled in late 2007. Number 2. 270 Park Avenue. Heading back to New York City, and we arrive at the tallest building in the world that was peacefully demolished, or in other words, not destroyed in an attack. 270 Park Avenue originally rose 707 feet or 250 meters tall, contained 52 floors, and was J.P. Morgan Chase's original headquarters. In 2018, J.P. Morgan announced it would demolish the building to make way for a newer structure that would be 678 feet or 207 meters taller than the existing structure. The replacement skyscraper will rise 1,388 feet or 423 meters tall, contain 63 floors of office space, and is estimated to complete in 2024. And number 1, World Trade Center. Probably to the surprise of no one, the original World Trade Center Twin Towers were the tallest buildings in the world that were destroyed. The Twin Towers rose 1,368 feet or 417 meters tall and contained 110 floors of primarily office space. The buildings would be destroyed in the 9/11 attacks when 2 airplanes piloted by terrorists crashed into each of the towers. The extremely hot jet fuel caused the steel framework of the buildings to weaken, which eventually led to the collapse of both towers. The World Trade Center Twin Towers were the tallest buildings in the world upon completion in 1970, and were the 4th tallest buildings in the world when they were destroyed. Today, there is a 9/11 memorial on the site which has 2 reflecting pools where the 2 towers used to stand. One World Trade Center was also built on the site to replace the Twin Towers. And there you have it, the top 10 tallest buildings in the world that were destroyed. Be sure to let me know in the comments which of the buildings on the list was your favorite. Thanks a lot for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Good one.